On the other side of the Charles MGHT station, there is a neighborhood that is no less historically appealing than the famous Beacon Hill. Going north from Cambridge Street, I took a trip into the Boston West End neighborhood, where repeated reconstruction had buried its histories way under the shiny facade. My destinations: the MGH Museum and the Liberty Hotel.
So when the hospital was founded, the idea of a general hospital was very new, and it was very much a charitable work. But then by the late 19th century, the hospitals really were the best place to get more serious medical care. And it really continued to be sort of a charity project until the 19-teens, 1920s, when the hospital administrators started opening a ward specifically for middle-class patients. That one was in the 1930s, and a ward specifically for wealthy patients. The campus has expanded quite a bit since the hospital was founded, as you can imagine. In the mid-19th century, they did actually tear down buildings that were built to be temporary buildings. They tore them down after a period because they believed that a building would be sort of saturated with disease after about 10 years. And naturally, the advent of germ theory sort of corrected that view, and that stopped being a reason that they would replace buildings.
What Ms. Cahoe said here actually reminded me of Mary Douglas's idea about how waste is essentially symbolic and that dirt is merely a matter out of place. Therefore, what the Mass General people did was to physically get rid of the whole thing. The Mass General's practice seemed no less ritualistic than the religious ceremony, because ritual is just the process in which people make transition into a different phase. Sometimes, what best fulfills the goal of cleaning is to destroy its physical remnant.
That exhibit case is kind of part of what we think of as our distributed museum, which is exhibits that we put on in other places.
So you see, the Mass General Hospital is way more than just a hospital. The singular function of a hospital is layered with so many things. Rather than the place that heals diseases, it appears to also be a place of public learning, both facts about medical technology and its historical connections. Going on to just a couple feet away, the Liberty Hotel tells a different story. I met with Ms. Nicole Gagnon, Public Relations and Marketing Manager of the Liberty Hotel, who surprised me with a nuanced account of the hotel's today and yesterday. The building of what is today the Liberty Hotel traces back to the 19th century, when architect James Fox Bryan directed the project of the Charles Street Jail. It used to be one of the jails with top conditions. Ironically, it was deemed to be abandoned in the late 20th century due to inhumane conditions and violation of inmates. Architect Gary Johnson oversaw the renovation, meticulously following the original design, including finishing up the cupola according to Bryan's idea. In terms of the inner design, lots of names pay homage to the history of the Charles Street Jail. Scampo, the name of the Italian restaurant, means escape in English. Clink refers to the sound when the prison door closes. Interesting enough, the basement of Alibi, the bar and lounge, used to be a space in the jail to detain the drunks overnight. While Ms. Gagnon emphasized to me that the hotel doesn't want to overkill on the theme of its criminal past, it really is an all-encompassing and penetrating presence in this space. This, I see as a physical layer to what the hotel is today. Both a hotel for people to spend time in, and a museum reminding the guests of its unique history. Ms. Gagnon told me that one of the questions people often ask her is that, is it haunted? She said before the grand opening of the hotel in 2007, they actually invited a group of Buddhist monks to perform a cleansing ceremony to cast out the negative spirit in the former jail building. I personally found this very interesting and kind of funny, but then it made sense to me how the hotel may wish to break from its past, because now this building had been endowed a completely new identity, from a place of discomfort and danger to a place of comfort and safety. No wonder that it would need this kind of ritual to complete its transformation. According to Mary Douglas, people tend to label anomalous objects as dangerous. Attributing danger is one way of putting a subject above dispute. Cleansing haunted spirit here is an extreme example, but it sets a mental basis for a place to be perceived clean and safe. In a historical sense, it is also what people do to find balance between conflicting historical identities of a place. The West End is an extremely layered neighborhood, and what I've done here is exploring a little into how its historical identities are conflicted, reconciled, and displayed along with the contemporary identities, using the Mass General Museum and the Liberty Hotel as sounding boards. In the case of Mass General and the Liberty, exercising this cleansing ceremony is to better embrace its present. The past did not disappear completely, since it was so intertwined within the existence of the place. Therefore, each of them reserved a place to exhibit and perform the part of the past that was inseparable, which made the layers of these places all the more subtle.